Unease has gripped the community in Ngondwe Kanziro in Namayumba sub-county Wakiso district as a conflict over 1,044 acres of land has turned this area into a powder keg. The Bibanja holders NTV spoke to are accusing Berna Nakato of orchestrating a sinister plot to evict them from their land. When we visited this area, we found recently flattened banana plantations and uprooted rows of coffee. Juliet Nanyange, who claims her family are Bibanja holders on the contentious land, is determined to assert her rights in the face of possible dispossession. When NTV spoke to her at her parents' home in Ngondwe, which is under surveillance, she recounted the toll the dispute has taken.
First of all, we've lost the fertile soils because she graded the land and all the fertile soils were camped down there. Secondly, we have lost banana plantations. We had banana plantations with even banana on it, matoke on it. Then the cassava, we had trees, you're going to see them, avocado trees, jackfruit trees. We had these yams, so many things, coffee plantations down there. You will see them, a lot of things. And not only us, even our neighbors, as you will see.
In nearby Kanziro, in the vicinity of Kitalia prison, residents are similarly held captive to fear and intimidation, stemming from this dispute over land located on Busiro Block 53, Plot 15, housing the villages of Busamba, Kinyika, Gayaza, and Ngondwe Kanziro. George Katamba, a resident, details the threats he has received.
Someone called me. He called himself Musisi, one of the so-called landlords. He told me that you said there is an issue on the land. I told him it is true. But he said, no, there is no problem with the land. There is no caveat on the land. I told him there is a caveat on the land. After, we started quarreling with me. He told me, you are going on telling people that they should not go, they should not negotiate with the landlords, they should not accept to give in their land. I told him it is true, because the thing is still in court. I told him, why don't you remove the caveat? Then we sit and we see what to do if the caveat is removed and you have the court order. So he told me, you see, you are going to get problems with us. I told him it is okay. If you are saying I will get problem with you, as long as I'm not doing anything wrong. So he told me, you are going on telling people that you should not accept. We are going to bring grade on your land and we vacate you. I told him no. If you try to bring grade on my land, you will see.
Similarly, Justine Nambi, a resident who claims to have lived on this land for the last 30 years, recounts the terror visited on her and other villagers.
We
received threatening letters and my name was included for not heeding the instructions of the RIDC. When we reported to the police, they gave us a reference and we expected the OC to call a meeting, but he didn't come.
The author of this letter, which foretells violence against these locals, remains unknown, though the residents point accusing fingers at Nakato. Nakato is laying claim to 200 acres of the disputed land and is at the center of the land dispute which pits the descendants of the late Gabrieli Lubaja against each other. In an earlier interview, this is what Nakato revealed.
I am the owner of that land. What I am doing now is to negotiate with the Bibanja holders, a win-win situation, and we are sharing 50% equally, and I process the titles for them, but at the Ministry of Lands you cannot process a title without having clear roads, and it is what I am doing.
Rose Zawede, a local resident, is optimistic that the conflict can be resolved amicably.
Nakato came to me and promised that she would compensate me for the loss and damage to my crops, and she did, and I signed.
Nakato's claims that she compensated the residents whose crops were damaged as she took possession of the land she claims is hers are given credence by Wilbur Nakabale, a local resident.
We finished negotiating and they compensated us for the crops we lost. There was no coercion and we were paid and signed. We have no complaints.
However, Nanyange offers a contradictory view when discussing the conduct of Nakato towards the Bibanja holders.
Even when she brought the graders to grade that land, she didn't speak to any of us. So for us, we don't have any communication with her. When she came around, she just lowered the millers of her car and told my mother that she was giving her 25 kilograms of posho to compensate for the land she graded and the food she destroyed. But since then, we don't have any communication with her.
Okay.
But she says she wants 70% of our land. For us, we take 30%. And on top of that, you are supposed to get some money. You go and transfer the land title into your names.
Matthias Mulumba, a grandson of the late Lubaja, who is embroiled in an ongoing acrimonious legal battle with his relatives as well as Nakato for control over the disputed land, accuses Nakato of impunity.
We have people who have lived in this area for more than 70 years. Under the law, they are supposed to be protected. The government is doing nothing. People are being graded. Last time we invited the Minister of Lands. She came here, she promised us that she was going to come back. We have waited for her in vain. She stopped all the activities, but these people seem not to heed to her demand. At the moment, Nakato, we got a court order for more than 500 acres. Nakato is not even willing to adhere to the terms of the consent. I mean the temporary injunction.
As the dispute escalates, the threat of violence is ever present. Mulumba claims that Nakato hired thugs that violently beat him up.
I came here, just like I've come now. I found Kanyamas on the way. They told me you can't enter these premises. This is where I was born. This is home. I told them I must enter. This is my father's home. So when I tried to enter, they grabbed me and beat me up. I sustained grave injuries. When I went to police to make a statement, they told me, no, we cannot help. There are orders from above that we cannot file anything on that land. We went to the RDC, same story. So where are we supposed to get justice from?
The reliance on violence as a means of settling land disputes of this nature is increasingly prevalent in Uganda and highlights the lack of public trust in state institutions tasked with the mandate of land governance to resolve disputes. A 2017 report by law professor Joe Oloka Onyango entitled Land Injustice, Impunity and State Collapse in Uganda, Causes, Consequences and Correctives reveals that individuals with means seeking land justice resort to mob action and vigilantism. Joachim Chibabu, a local resident, reflects on the uptick in violence.
The goons cornered me once and I did not know what to think. It was fellow villagers who heard my cry for help. They came to save me.
Interventions by the legally mandated state institutions such as the Ministry of Lands, as well as the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, which has no legal mandate relating to land governance, have muddied the waters and risk undermining an ongoing process to settle the dispute. On May 21, 2023, Judith Nabakova, the Lands Minister, visited the site and sanctioned an inquiry by the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, which subsequently submitted a report to the Land Ministry that was eventually presented to the community on October 26, 2023 by Shafik Nsubuga, the Deputy RDC of Nansana. Nsubuga, in a phone interview, revealed that the interests of the Bibanja owners are protected.
There is no one who is allowed to move off the Bibanja people on their land. And actually, the landlords, if they have anything to say, they should be in touch with the Bibanja people.
The rights of a Chibanja holder are stipulated under Article 237(8) of the 1995 Constitution of Uganda, which stipulates that the lawful or bona fide occupants of Milo land, freehold or leasehold land, shall enjoy security of occupancy on the land. However, this case highlights how multiple institutions in land governance increase the possibility of selective enforcement of the law as envisioned in the 2017 study entitled The Legal Jurisprudential Analysis Report on Land Justice in Uganda. The State House Anti-Corruption Unit and the Office of the RDC mediate such conflicts without the legal mandate to do so, and they operate parallel to the courts of law, undermining the courts in the process. This is why court orders can be routinely flouted and individuals can act above the law.
The report has brought about a lot of cryings in the public because their Bibanja interests are dreaded. There is nowhere they can run to. It's because of the report. We have an ongoing court matter. But the Nakatos claim that the report from the State House Anti-Corruption is stronger than the court.
A judiciary memorandum to the Bamugemerere Land Commission revealed that the execution of court orders related to land disputes in Uganda is hampered by inequality, with the affluent parties to the dispute able to influence the execution of court orders to the disadvantage of the underprivileged. On the evidence, the view that ad hoc and illegal institutions that have assumed a mandate over land matters should be disbanded gains credence, as they facilitate impunity and render courts that can resolve disputes with finality inadequate, as their orders can't be enforced. Rather than create new institutions which have proved incapable of addressing the land crisis, Onyango argues it is more prudent for the government to empower the courts to settle such disputes. The judiciary memo revealed that protracted court cases and chronic delays in disposing of land matters in court remains an obstacle to access to land justice. This has been attributed to a number of factors, including the filing of unnecessary injunctions to delay proceedings, filings in multiple courts, which is known as forum shopping, and unnecessary adjournments for unprepared lawyers. Further, Onyango reckons it is urgent that long-standing proposals to address land injustice, such as the enactment of legal provisions that facilitate occupants to register ownership of their bibanja and mass sensitization of vulnerable groups on land laws and land rights, are implemented. Otherwise, the country's violent history, on account of institutional failure, is bound to repeat itself with land as a major fault line.